So in today's video, we're going to go over our current YouTube studio setup. So if you saw our video from 2 weeks ago, we covered the $100 YouTube studio setup, basically our recommendations for someone just getting started on YouTube right now that has a $100 budget to invest in gear. And also showed you some of the things that we used for our very first YouTube videos, like the paper lantern light and recording with my iPhone 6S. We've upgraded quite a bit since then. We've been creating content for 3-ish years on YouTube right now. And then on top of that, we do some work for clients and helping them grow their YouTube channels. So basically want to walk through all the current gear that we're using and give you a little bit of the thought process that I went through kind of making each one of those decisions. So the camera and all the gear we talk about today, I'll put more information down below in the description. So the first thing I want to talk about today is our camera. So we're currently using the Sony a6600, but we chose this camera for a couple of reasons. One, it has a flip up screen. So a lot of the other Sony cameras previously did not have a flip up or flip out screen. So being able to see yourself while you're recording, if you're doing it by yourself, is really, really important. Another thing is there's no record limit. So we can just hit the record button. I could, record a tutorial for a couple of hours if I wanted to and not worry about having to hit my camera basically shutting itself off after 30 minutes. On top of that, it has amazing battery life. So it uses the same battery as the larger full frame Sony camera. So I can record basically a week's worth of content, the 3 videos that I'm putting out a week, without having to change or charge the battery. It does have the ability to record great video in 4K, although my colleague Diego usually edits our videos. And so I have to upload the video to Google Drive. He's going to download it, edit it, and upload it to YouTube. And so it's just too much work, or it would take too long to use such large files. And so we're just doing it in 1080p. It does also shoot great slow motion with 120 frames per second. So to go along with the camera, the lens that we're using is the Sony 16 to 55 millimeter 2.8. So this is a great all-around zoom lens. And so this can cause a blurry background. I'm pretty close to the wall right now, but if I was further from the wall and there was some stuff behind me, you would see kind of the background blur or bokeh from this type of lens. I could have obviously gotten something like the Sigma prime lenses, but to have the same, zoom capabilities, I would have to have 3 different lenses and be changing out lenses all the time, where, this is something that works really well in low light. I can get quite a bit of zoom out of it. So to go from maybe around 20 millimeters that I am right now, I can basically show you all the way zoomed in at, I'm kind of scrunched down right now at 55. And so there's quite a bit of different uses that I can get from this one lens. So when we purchased the camera over a year ago, I don't think that lens has ever been taken off. And so we have no need right now to replace the lens. We can use it in pretty much any different setting, from recording talking head videos. If I have it zoomed all the way out, I could probably vlog with it, although that's not something I really do that often. It's not the cheapest lens. I think it's around $1,200 right now, but wanting a small compact setup that I could travel with and not have to carry a bunch of lenses and other things, this works really, really well. Okay, so now let's move on to the lighting. So having great lighting can help basically any camera that you're using look good. So if you have an old cell phone but amazing lighting, your videos are going to look pretty good. So we're currently using the Aputure 120D Mark II with the Light Dome Mark II, also from Aputure. So it's a very powerful light, but also being diffused over a very large surface. So Light Dome, I think, is 35 inches wide, and there's a couple layers of diffusion. So that's why you have such a soft light coming in from over here. The light comes with this little remote, so you can basically see here, turn this off. There's a little bit of light coming from other places, but it's mostly from this. And so I think it's around, at 30-some% right now is where I normally have it for my videos. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to adjust this for whatever the lighting situation you have. And then the other 2 lights that I'm currently using are the ones that came with the $100 YouTube studio setup, the newer kind of really small lights. So these ones right here. So I'm using these basically, if I just use this light and this side of my face is really dark. And so what I found is I'm using these sound blankets that I'll talk about in a second, but I'm bouncing the light off of that, which is adding a little bit of light on this side so it's not so dark. But I can basically show you how much of a difference this one light makes, turning it on and off like so. And then the other newer light I have down here on my switch pod. And so that's just lighting up you know, the wall behind me. But yeah, this is the main light to have something look really, really good. And also the larger the light source makes a really big difference as far as how soft the light looks versus, you know, if I'm shining this on me directly. So before I got these two Neewer lights, I was using this little Aputure light, the Aputure MC. This is not an ad for Aputure by any means, but they do make really good light. So this one is a little bit unique, and the new lights that just came out from them are also run on the same app. And the cool thing here, so I can adjust the intensity. So this is 18.5%, this is 100%, and this is at 5600 Kelvin. So this is, you know, this is daylight right now. I can adjust to 4000 Kelvin or 3200 Kelvin. And so I can, you know, basically change the white balance of this. And then on top of it, it is an RGB light. So what if we wanted a green light, a blue light, a fuchsia light? I think if I had two of these, so this is all the way up as bright as it goes. I think if I had two of these, I could basically light up the background and change it to whatever color I want. I also use this sometimes inside the little lamp that I had in the back of some of my old videos, so I could change the color of that. We have a free YouTube Masterclass. It's an hour-long free training where we go through a ton of tips to help you grow on YouTube in 2021. If you're interested in signing up, I'll put a link down below in the description. So now let's move on to the audio. So we're currently using the Rode VidioMic NTG, which is boomed up right here, and then I have a audio cable going all the way and connecting into the camera so that the video and audio is basically synced up and you don't have to sync that up while you're editing. And so I think maybe I can just lower this down so you can see it better. Let's give it a try. So I can put that down. So this is the Rode VidioMic NTG. The great thing with this is it turns on and off with your camera. So just having it plugged in and hooked to your camera, I can turn the camera off, this shuts off. Turn this on, this automatically turns on. And so it's not having two things that you have to remember. I turn the camera off and shoot, I left this on overnight and the battery's dead. Or I started recording with this and there is no audio. I think there's 30 hours of record time with this, or 30 hours of, you know, battery life for it. So again, I can probably get a couple of weeks worth of videos recorded with this microphone. The other thing is that it has the USB-C on this side is where you charge it, and also you could hook this up and run it to your computer. So if you want to do video calls and have great audio, this could be a great option. And then the other thing for the audio are our sound blankets. So there's a sound blanket, you know, hung up in front of me. So I think it's 7 foot by 7 foot. So it's basically this wide and the same tall, taking up the whole space in front of me. And then there's one along the side here as well that I can, ooh, let's not break anything. And so basically I'm surrounded on two sides by these sound blankets, and it's basically reducing the echo tremendously in this room. I'm curious what gear you're currently using for your YouTube videos. Leave that down below in the comment section. If you missed our video on the $100 YouTube studio setup, I'll link to that right here. Also, if you want to grow your YouTube channel in 2021, definitely check out our playlist down below. Hope to see you in those and future videos. Bye-bye.